Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about one of the biggest migration stories of our time. Why so many Indians are moving to Canada. If you've noticed that Canada feels more and more like a second home for Indians, you're not imagining it. The numbers back it up, and the reasons why are both fascinating and important. So stick with me, because over the next few minutes we're going to dig into the statistics and the challenges behind this massive movement of people. Let's start with the big picture. Over the last decade, Canada has seen an explosion in Indian immigration. Back in 2013, only about 33,000 Indians were granted permanent residency in Canada. Fast forward to 2023, and that number jumped to nearly 140,000. That's a 326% increase in just 10 years. By 2024, India was not only the #1 source country for Canadian immigrants, but contributed almost 150,000 new permanent residents. That's more than any other country by a long shot. And here's another staggering fact. In 2024, Canada welcomed about 374,000 new citizens. Of those, almost 88,000 were originally Indian nationals. That means nearly 1 in every 4 new Canadian citizens that year was Indian. So clearly, this is a massive trend. But why Canada specifically? Why not the United States, Australia, or Europe? Well, there are several key reasons that keep drawing Indians to the Maple Leaf. Let's break them down. First up, the immigration system itself. Canada has one of the most structured, transparent, and predictable immigration systems in the world. Programs like Express Entry, provincial nominee programs, and various student to permanent residency pathways make it possible for people to not only move to Canada, but also build a clear route toward becoming permanent residents and eventually citizens. Second, education. Canada has become a top destination for Indian students over the last decade. In fact, by 2019, Indian students made up more than a third of all international students in Canada. The number jumped from about 49,000 in 2015 to more than 219,000 in just 4 years. And while there has been a recent dip in study permits because of stricter visa rules, Canada's universities and colleges remain a massive magnet. The advantage here is that many students use education as a stepping stone. Study in Canada, get a post-graduation work permit, gain Canadian work experience, and then apply for permanent residency. For young Indians chasing global exposure and better career opportunities, this is an attractive pipeline. Third, economic opportunity and quality of life. Canada's economy is stable. Unemployment is relatively low compared to global averages, and the standard of living is consistently ranked among the best in the world. Healthcare is publicly funded, infrastructure is strong, and cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Calgary are hubs of opportunity. For Indians who might feel limited by domestic job prospects, Canada offers not just higher salaries, but also better work-life balance. Add to that a safer environment, cleaner air, and less overcrowding, and it's not hard to see why many families view Canada as a better place to raise children. Now let's talk about community. One of the most powerful pull factors is the strength of Canada's existing Indian diaspora. According to the 2021 census, about 1.86 million people in Canada identified as being of Indian origin. That's roughly 5% of the entire population. And the numbers have only grown since then. In major cities like Toronto, Brampton, Vancouver, and Surrey, Indian communities are thriving. There are Indian grocery stores, temples, gurudwaras, cultural festivals, and entire neighborhoods that make newcomers feel right at home. Another big factor is demographics, on both sides. India has one of the youngest populations in the world, with millions of skilled graduates entering the workforce every year. At the same time, Canada has an aging population and one of the lowest fertility rates among developed countries. To keep its economy strong, Canada relies heavily on immigration to fill jobs, pay taxes, and sustain its social programs. In fact, in 2023, nearly 98% of Canada's population growth came from international migration. So there's a perfect alignment. India has the people, and Canada has the demand. But let's not ignore the push factors, the reasons people are leaving India in the first place. While India's economy is growing quickly, job creation hasn't always kept pace with the number of graduates entering the market. Wage disparities are another issue. A software engineer in Bangalore might earn a fraction of what they'd make in Toronto or Vancouver. Add in factors like pollution, overcrowding, and pressure on resources, and the appeal of moving to a place like Canada becomes even clearer. Now, you might be wondering, is this just about young professionals and students? The answer is no. The trend covers a wide spectrum. There are blue-collar workers moving for steady jobs in logistics and manufacturing. There are families relocating for long-term security. And there's even been a rise in high net worth individuals moving to Canada for global mobility and lifestyle benefits. Canada's investor immigration programs, while stricter than in the past, still attract wealthy Indians who want residency rights and international opportunities. Of course, moving abroad isn't always easy. Canada has its challenges, like harsh winters, high cost of living in major cities, and more recently, housing shortages. Immigration backlogs have also frustrated applicants at times. But despite these obstacles, the overall momentum is undeniable. Let's take a moment to look at the cultural impact too. Indians in Canada have risen to prominent positions in politics, business, and culture. Canada has had multiple ministers of Indian origin, and the community plays a key role in shaping the country's future. From small businesses to Bollywood movie releases in Canadian theaters, the Indian influence is everywhere. This visibility creates a positive feedback loop. The more established the community becomes, the more attractive Canada looks to future migrants. So, to wrap things up, why are so many Indians moving to Canada? It's the combination of push and pull. Push factors from India include limited job growth, wage disparities, and lifestyle pressures. Pull factors from Canada include a welcoming immigration system, world-class education, strong economic opportunities, high quality of life, and thriving Indian communities that provide a sense of belonging. The numbers are dramatic, the growth has been consistent, and if current trends continue, Indians will remain the largest and most influential immigrant group in Canada for years to come. And that's the big picture. From students chasing degrees to families seeking stability to professionals building global careers, Canada has become a top choice for Indians who want to build their future abroad. It's not just about leaving, it's about upgrading opportunities, lifestyles, and possibilities. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment telling me what you think. Is Canada really the dream destination for Indians? Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.